bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, nigga still make change. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze, and y'all already know the motto: no gimmicks, only the real. This is episode 39. Now, y'all know what I need from y'all. Continue to smash that subscribe button. We are on our way to 300 subscribers. Also, do not forget to like and share the content. Now, before we get started, what I tell y'all? I told you. This is where we going. All the March Madness, this is where we going. I told y'all Elite 8 at the bare minimum. And I'm sticking to that. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So you already know the first topic. First topic off the jump. Crab 5 headed to the Sweet 16. Yes, the Maryland Terps are headed to the Sweet 16 after Sunday's thrilling victory over Colorado State, 72-71. Man, listen, first and foremost, before we go anywhere further, I want to give a shout out to Colorado State. That was a hell of a game. Y'all had me on the edge of my seat the entire game. Y'all came to play. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect it to go like that. I'm not going to say I expected Maryland to mop the floor with Colorado State, but I did expect Maryland to win handily. But Colorado State, y'all gained a fan after what y'all did on Sunday. That was a hell of a ball game. But unfortunately, you're headed home. Maryland, we moving forward. So the stats for Sunday: Julian Reese had 15 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 5 of 7 from the field. Celton Miguel had 11 points, 2 rebounds, 0 assists. He was 4-11 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. Jacoby Gillespie had 11 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. He was 4-12 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. Rodney Rice had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. And my boy, Derek Queen, he had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 7 of 12 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, and might have hit the biggest shot in Maryland basketball history. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but it felt like that to me. They only had 2 total bench points. They got to figure out something with that bench, especially going into this week's Sweet 16 against a juggernaut Florida team. They got to figure out something with that bench, but we'll figure that out when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Maryland makes their first Sweet 16 since 2016. Freshman sensation Derek Queen scored a game winner at the buzzer as number 4 seeded Maryland men's basketball team advanced to the NCAA tournament Sweet 16 for the 15th time in program history after defeating number 12 seeded Colorado State 72-71 in the second round at Climate Pledge Arena on Sunday. The last game-winning buzzer beater in the NCAA tournament game was in the 2023 Final Four by San Diego State's Lamont Butler to advance the Aztecs to the title game. The win improves number 11 ranked Maryland to 27-8, the most wins for the program since going 27-9 in 2015-2016 season, the last time the Terps advanced to the Sweet 16. Before that, Maryland's previous Sweet 16 appearance came in consecutive years, 2001, 2002, and 2003, on the way to the 2002 National Championship and 2001 Final Four. Maryland will play number 1 seeded Florida in the Sweet 16 this Thursday at the Chase Center in San Francisco. The game will tip off at 7:39. It will be televised by TBS, True TV, and broadcast on Maryland Sports Radio Network. Man, oh man. So these are my thoughts on the game. I'm a be all the way honest. Maryland, y'all had me scared. We got to do Kevin Willard. We got to get back to the drawing board, and we got to figure something out about these slow starts. This is the second consecutive game in the tournament that they came out slow and allowed the opposing team to, get a head start, and they had to somewhat play a little bit of catch up. I like the fact that it seemed as though in the second half they decided to slow things down. Rodney Rice finally got it going. They finally started feeding Julian Reese and Derek Queen in the post, and I think that was their advantage from Jump Street. I think they kind of started settling at the beginning, Lord. Maybe nerves was up there a little bit. I understand. You know, it's win or go home. So, you know, nerves are going to be up there. But I felt like in the second half, they totally settled down. Selton Miguel hit some timely threes. Rodney Rice, like I said before, got it going. But at the end of the day, when it all came down to it, when it was time for the rubber to meet the road, they got the ball in the hands of their best player. Derek Queen from Baltimore. I ain't gonna lie. When Colorado State hit that three to take the lead with, I believe it was, we got a timeout. It was about I'm going up there. I think it was about 3.6 seconds left. I was scared. I said, oh no, not again. Every game we lost this year has been nip and tuck, a nail biter. We lost to, I believe it was Northwestern like that. We lost to Michigan State like that. Every game was close. So when I seen him hit that three, I said, oh man, here we go again. But my boy came through. And listen, for all y'all that want to keep complaining, talking about this traveling, oh, he traveled, you can't gather and all that. Okay, what about when my man got elbowed in the head early in the game? Was Colorado State's best player not supposed to get ejected for that? For elbowing him in the head? What about when he went to the rim? That same guy and elbowed Derek Queen in the mouth. Come on, man. I'm not trying to hear that. At the end of the day, the shot went in. We move on. The win shattered Colorado State's 11-game win streak, ending this season at 26-10 overall. The Terps trailed by as many as 12 points at the 9-minute and 50-second mark of the first quarter. This was their second win this season, where they previously trailed by double-digit points. The 12 points also marked the second largest deficit they overcame, rivaling the 14-point deficit the Terps overcame in their 76-75 win over Villanova on November the 24th, 2024. Maryland later trailed Colorado State 37-30 at halftime. The last time Maryland came back from a 7-point or higher halftime deficit in an NCAA tournament game was in 1983 against Chattanooga in the round of 48. But, man, I'm so happy Maryland pulled this out. I said it. I said, you know what? When the tournament started, I didn't jump out the gate and say national championship. I just said Elite Eight at the best. That's all I said. I'm sticking to my guns right now. Don't get me wrong, I am a little nervous this Thursday coming up. Florida is a juggernaut. I just watched them a couple games before Maryland came on early in that day on Sunday, and they a juggernaut. But I think Maryland got what it takes to pull it off, man. And you know, I'm just so happy they was able to pull out this win. It was a tough win. Came down to the wire. You know what I'm saying? Had the fans on the edge of their seats. Like I said before, shout out to Colorado State. Y'all played y'all tails off, and I didn't want to leave this segment without giving Colorado State a shout out for you to be a 12 seed. They beat Memphis in the first round and then turn around and come and play Maryland super tough. Nick Clifford gave them 21.7 rebounds, 6 assists. He was 7-17 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. Kyan Evans gave him 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 4-9 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Jalen Crocker Johnson gave him 7 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 3 of 11 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3. Jalen Lake had 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3. Rashawn Mbimba, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong, had 2 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 or 2 from the field. But this is who I mostly was impressed by. Bowen Bourne off the bench had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 0 assists. He was 5 of 6 from the field, 0 and 1 from 3. They had 18 total bench points. And honestly, I felt like that's what kept them in the game. Moving forward, Maryland, we have to figure out we got to get some type of production off of that bench, especially going into the game this week. You can't expect for the Crab Five, you know what I'm saying, to play the whole them boys going to have to come out and get rest at some point in time. We need some type of production off the bench. They got to make that happen. Kevin Willard and them, they got to go to that chalkboard and figure something out and you know what I'm saying, and do what they need to do. But we need some bench production in this next game. Also, I want to add, and listen, I know a lot of people. I seen kind of, you know, some going back and forth a little bit about this topic, and I wanted to give my thoughts on it. So first and foremost, I'm gonna jump out. I'm gonna say this: always and forever in my book, Len Bias is gonna be the greatest Maryland Terp ever, basketball wise, hands down. That's not my argument here. But what my argument is right now, saying today, and I'm comfortable saying this, and I'm gonna tell you why. Derek Queen is gonna go down right now as the greatest freshman. As of right now, to me, Derek Queen is the greatest freshman that has ever worn a Maryland Terps uniform. Greatest freshman. And I'm gonna tell you why. I witnessed the Melo Trimble freshman year. I witnessed it. Melo Trimble was great his freshman year. That was the last time where between that 2016 season, I was really, you know what I'm saying? I always been on Maryland. That's my team. But I was really locked in because Melo was doing something special. I didn't think that Maryland could get something from, you know, another freshman like year, like, you know, what they got from Melo. I was wrong, bro. Derek Queen, that boy the truth. That boy the truth. And I'm tired of, you know what I'm saying, people talking about his game. It's ridiculous that I'm going and looking at some of these mock drafts in the NBA, and some guys don't even have him in the top 10. I understand if you like Cooper Flagg. I understand if you like Ace Bailey, if you like Dylan Hop. I get it. But Derek Queen is legit. Derek Queen should be a top 5 pick in this upcoming NBA draft. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I'm going on record and saying it. Derek Queen is the greatest freshman to ever don a Maryland Terps uniform. Greatest ever. Right now. I'm stamping that right now. Derek Queen right now is averaging 16.2 points, 9.1 rebounds, 1.9 assists, shooting 52.9% from the field. Melo Trimble freshman year, he averaged 16.2, which is the same. He averaged less assists. He averaged three assists a game, 1.3 steals, and 3.9 rebounds a game. You know what I'm saying? So he got him on assists, but other than he was a point guard. You know, Derek Queen is down low. Len Bias freshman year, it's not even close. He averaged 7.2 points, 0.7 assists, 0.3 steals, 0.5 blocks. For some reason, I couldn't pull up the rebounds. But like I said, in my book, Len Bias is going to always be the greatest Maryland Terp ever, in my book. But the greatest freshman, we are witnessing right now as Maryland Terp fans, the greatest freshman to don a Maryland Terps uniform, and that's Derek Queen. I salute. I like everything about him. His poise, his composure. You know what I'm saying? The way that he demand. You could tell his teammates respect him a lot. I love hearing Kevin Willard say in that clutch moment, he asked who wanted the ball, and Derek Queen came out and said, "Give me the damn ball." I love that. That's a leader of men. That's somebody who everybody's willing to follow. And I just love the whole thing about it, man. Like I said, right now I'm giving it to Derek Queen. And another thing that I wanted to touch on earlier in the season or in the middle of the season, Kevin Willard came out and had a very cryptic, you know, he said something that a lot of people didn't like. He said that if Derek Queen was a white European, he would be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And a lot of people may not agree with that. They may feel like he's race baiting or whatever. I 100% agree with Kevin Willard on that statement. If Derek Queen was what he said, a white European, he would be the number 1 pick in the draft. All these European guys we watch coming to the NBA have his exact same play style. They going number 1, number 2, at the very minimum top 5. I'm looking at, like I said a couple minutes ago, I'm going to some mock drafts and seeing that people don't even have them. Some people don't even have them in this top 10. And now I'm hearing about all his play style. He don't shoot jump shots. He's more of an old school type of player. So what? Is he productive or isn't he? He's clearly productive. He's only averaging 2 points less than the runaway number 1 pick, Cooper Flagg. And that's not no knock on Cooper Flagg, but this man is only averaging 2 less points than Cooper Flagg. And people don't even have him in the top 10. Like, what he's doing is, come on, man, stop it. Stop it. We got to cut that out. I agree with Kevin Willard 100% on that statement that if he was a white European, that he would be at the top of this draft class. Hands down. What we seeing from him, come on, man. That man, at that last second shot against Colorado State, that's like something a guard would do. You know, and now, like I said, I'm hearing people make up all type of excuses. Stop it. They comparing, some people calling this boy a young Jokic. Come on, and we talking about he not in the top. He should. Some people don't even have him in their top 10. Stop it, man. Hey, Derek Queen, you stamped over here, bruh. Merlin, I told you, I was excited to shoot this episode. But Thursday is going to be a hell of a game. I can't wait to watch it. Florida is a juggernaut. The main thing I feel like Maryland need to do in order to pull out this game, to win this game, I think that the best thing for them, they got to stop the guard play of Florida. Florida has some great guard play. Walter Clayton Jr. is out of this world. He had 23 points their last outing against UConn. I think he had 23 points their first game in the tournament, but he's a dog. You got to find a way to stop him. Also, you got Elijah Martin, who had 18 points this last game. He's phenomenal. You got to find a way to slow him down. And also, you got Will Richard, who had 15 points. But I think if Maryland can slow down the guard play from Florida and also be able to, Maryland got to start fast. All that starting off slow and thinking you're gonna be able to catch back up. No, this is different. You going up against the number 1 seed now. You got to come out fast, pedal to the metal, feed your big men, go through Queen and JuJu, and then the guards get involved. And we need something from that bench. But I said it from jump. I love Florida. I like what they doing. They a juggernaut. But you know who I'm with. I said it. Elite 8 at the very bare minimum, and I'm sticking with it. We moving on, man. Shout out to Maryland. Like I said, shout out to Colorado State. Y'all played a hell of a game, but we'll see y'all next year. Maryland, we moving on to the Sweet 16. Let's go. My next topic. John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks are headed to the Sweet 16. On Thursday, March 20th, they defeated Kansas 79-72. And this past Saturday, in a hell of a game, I watched that entire game. They defeated they defeated St. John's 75-66. So they completed 2 upsets. On Arkansas side, on Saturday, DJ Wagner gave them 8 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. Trayvon Brazil gave them 8 points, 8 rebounds. Jonell Davis gave them 13 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Carter Knox gave them 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Jonas Adu gave them 7.7 rebounds, 2 assists. Off the bench, Billy Richmond gave them 16 points, 9 rebounds, 0 assists. And Boogie Flan gave them 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. They had 24 total bench points. This right here, and this topic right here I came up with because this is for me to give John Calipari his flowers, man. We got to let up on John Calipari, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I understand he left a bad taste in a lot of Kentucky fans' mouth. The way that he left, people wanted him out. You know, them being picked to win national champion. They done got eliminated early these last couple of years with top talent. I understand it, right? But come on now. For this man to transfer schools, go to Arkansas, they started 0-5. They started 0-5 in SEC play. 0-5. Nobody picked them to do anything in the tournament. They were on pins and needles heading into the tournament. And for them to knock off a number 7 rated Kansas, and then turn around, St. John's was one of the hottest teams heading into the tournament. And for them to knock them off in that fashion, that was a hell of a game. I watched the entire game too. We got to give Calipari some props. Calipari is a top-notch coach. I seen somewhere people were saying that, you know, they felt like he wasn't a top coach. He just was a great recruiter. You know, his time at UMass, Memphis, and the NBA, then coming to Kentucky, he was just a great recruiter. He didn't have to call no play. Or this past weekend, he showed you. And this is one thing I know about the tournament. It could either make you or break you. It was breaking them at Kentucky, but it's making them now because this past Saturday, that was a hell of a win. But I typed all this stuff, so I'm going to read it, and y'all going to listen, and, you know, then I'm going to give y'all my thoughts. So this what I wrote down. These are from different articles. It says, if you talk to enough people who were close enough to the truth, which isn't easy when it comes to John Calipari and all the myths that surround his every move, they'll tell you there was a moment last April when he was on the verge of going to Arkansas and thought deeply about whether it was something he regret. You're talking about a man who has spent his entire adult life trying to get a coaching job like Kentucky, and 15 years as the biggest show in college basketball, for better or for worse. Now here he was at 65, just one signature from leaving it behind. For the first time maybe ever, as he climbed from UMass to the NBA, then from Memphis to Lexington, Calipari had to think hard about whether he might be making a huge mistake. More than 11 months later, and here we are, in the two biggest moments of his first post-Kentucky season, Calipari beat Rick Pitino to get Arkansas to the Sweet 16. No wonder his wife, Ellen, was visibly crying as the final seconds ticked away of an intense 75-66 upset over St. John's that might be as personally satisfying as any victory he's had since leading Kentucky to the national championship 13 years ago. Nobody needs to feel sorry for Calipari about the way anything in his life or career has turned out, but we can all appreciate to some degree how it must feel to be really good at something for a very long time and suddenly have the same people who praised you for it question in a very loud and public way whether you can still do the job. Saturday, that question was answered. As it turns out, yeah, Coach Cal has still got it. He absolutely got it. I'm so happy for him, because I'm one of those type of people that I try to look at it from both sides. Calipari felt it was time for him to move on after, some pretty underwhelming tournament success in Kentucky these past few couple of years. Fans were, wanting him on the chopping block, so he felt the need it was best for him to move on. Kentucky fans, probably been trolling him all year. Kentucky, you guys are left in good hands. But I know him making it to the Sweet 16 with Arkansas, this has to be a great feeling for him and his family. And I'm just happy for him. He showed everybody that he actually can coach. Like I said, I've seen a lot of people criticizing the man, saying that it's easy to do what you're doing when you're getting top talent every year. He showed you that that's not the case. He came into a fresh situation, built the team as if he wanted to build it at Kentucky, and he had it to the Sweet 16 in his first season, bro. We can't knock that. We can't knock that at all. And I think it was just this was the proper way. He stuck his middle finger up to a lot of folks after Saturday, not physically, but in his mind, I know that's what he really wanted to do. But shout out to Coach Calipari, man. I mean, to do what's done, and then to do it in that fashion. Kansas was a little, they was wishy-washy up and down all year, but to beat St. John's in that environment, that basically was a home game for St. John's. To beat them in that type of environment, in that physical style, we know St. John's, they want to play physical. To beat them at their own game, I think that was just great. And he showed you, he went deep in his tool bag for that one. He went deep in it, and they ended up pulling out the victory. Getting this Arkansas team to the Sweet 16 will have ranked as one of the more meaningful victories of Calipari's career, regardless of whether Pacino or anyone else was on the opposite bench. Arkansas started 0-5 in the SEC, didn't play anywhere close to its potential for the most of the season, and didn't have a lot of margin for error to make the NCAA tournament. That's not what this season was supposed to be after Calipari, backed by a large NIL budget, essentially recreated the team he would have had at Kentucky this season. But that's also the beauty of college basketball postseason. It could wash away a multitude of sins, just as it can ruin the memories of seasons that deserve better. That really is why Calipari had to leave Kentucky in the first place. After 15 years, a few blown opportunities to advance deeper in the postseason, and being on the wrong side of two humiliating upsets took too much of a toll on his relationship with the fan base. By the time Calipari walked off the floor a year ago, having lost to number 14 seeded Oakland, it was just over. Now neither side should have regrets about what happened in the 3 weeks that follow. Kentucky is in a good place under Mark Pope. Arkansas's program is back in the national spotlight, and Calipari's reputation as the guy who can still beat Pacino in a big game after 30 years of knocking heads with him is restored to its full glory. Calipari move to Arkansas has been a point of contention among Kentucky fans, especially given his recent early exit in Lexington. Many hoped a poor showing with the Razorbacks would justify the university's decision to part ways with the longtime coach. Instead, Arkansas is thriving, and the tension between the fan bases is rising with every win. Listen, Kentucky, to my Kentucky fans, I understand, but you got to let the bitterness go. The man moved on. He's thriving. You guys got his replacement. You're thriving. What's with the animosity? Let it go. You know what I'm saying? This man had 15 seasons, 15 long years at that university. He did, regardless of how you feel or what you think, he had some great seasons there. Look at all the talent that ran through Kentucky while Coach Kyle was there. Just look at all the future Hall of Famers in the NBA currently that ran through Kentucky when Coach Kyle was there. Enjoy the memories. Those are the memories that you have. This man has moved on, and now he's creating a culture and creating a winning formula in Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? Don't be that bitter ex. Don't be that bitter ex that act like you wanted to move on and you happy to move on, and now you see your ex over there happy having fun with they new thing, and now you upset. Nah, we can't do that. Shout out to Coach Calipari. I'm happy that you was able to move on, and I'm glad that you're having success in the tournament, because early it did not look good. And I'm gonna go on record and say it, man. If he do this thing the right way, we could see Arkansas. I don't see them this year. But who knows? They can win in the Sweet 16. But we could be looking at them in the next 1 to 2 years in the Final Four or the national championship. We know they not gonna get worse, especially with him there. You know it's gonna be 5 stars, 4 stars coming left and right. They said like 700 something players already entered the transfer portal when it became available. So just imagine how many of them headed to Arkansas. So hey man, you got to give it to him, man. He's a great coach. Regardless of what you think, regardless of how you feel, the man is a great coach. The Kansas win, I was like, okay, cool. But I understood that Kansas been, up and down all year. But to do what they just did this past Saturday against St. John's, you got to tip your cap to him. And that's something that he had. That was a game. They went in there with a game plan. They went in there with a straight game plan. Foul trouble almost hindered it for him. But they went in there with a game plan. And you gotta give it to him, man. The man is a great coach. Y'all tried to diminish what he's accomplished because of the talent that was coming over through Kentucky. But guess what? It was a reason those guys was coming. It was a reason you hear guys like John Wall, Boogie Cousins, Rondo. It's a reason why you hear those guys speak very highly of Coach Kyle. It's a reason. It ain't just for nothing. It's because the man know what he doing. Yeah, he may have came up shorter than y'all liked in a couple of those NCAA tournaments where y'all felt they should have had a deeper run. But guess what? Shit happens. That's what happens in college basketball. That's why it's called March Madness. Upsets all over the place. It happens. But we're not going to diminish the man and make it seem like he's not a great coach. He's an excellent coach, and he's showing you why. For them to make it into the Sweet 16 in his first season after going 0-5, to begin, in the SEC play, come on, man, you got to tip your cap to that. You got to tip your cap to that. They was on the verge of not even making the tournament. And, 2 big upsets, and now they headed to the Sweet 16, to the dance. Come on, man, you got to give it to them. After that game, though, the biggest question mark came when Big East Player of the Year, R.J. Lewis Jr., hit 2 free throws with 4 minutes and 56 seconds, 4 minutes and 56 seconds remaining to pull St. John's within 2 points. Coach Rick Pitino subbed him out of the game. Lewis, who totaled 9 points on 3 of 17 shooting, never returned. Initially, Pitino referenced Lewis having played 30 minutes, noting that's a long time. But when asked if he kept Lewis on the bench because he was tired, Pitino said no. He played 30 minutes. I played other people. You're asking leading questions, so don't ask me any questions. You already know why he didn't play. You know he was 3 of 17. You know he was 0 of 3 from 3. So you're answering your own question. He said, I'm not going to knock one of my players. And I also seen something later on in the week saying that I believe R.J. Lewis deleted his Instagram because he was getting, bad comments and stuff sent to his way. As fans, we got to stop that. The man had a bad game. That doesn't take away the type of player he is. He's a great player, Big East Player of the Year. But let's keep it a buck. We know why he didn't come back in the game. He was slumming. He was playing terrible. And Rick Pitino, being the Hall of Fame coach that he is, he know what it looked like when somebody's struggling. You fussing with the ref, going back and forth, getting into it with the opposing team player. His mind wasn't there. He was having an all-around bad game. So, why not try these other guys out? Because we going to lose with you in the game anyway. You ain't giving us nothing. You're not giving us what we need right now. You're not giving us what we need right now. So, we're going to go ahead and put you on this bench. We understand how great you is. Hopefully, it's not a knock to his confidence, because certain situations like that could be a knock to a player's confidence. But, Rick Pitino, how could you argue with him? The man is a Hall of Fame coach. He knew R.J. Lewis was struggling. He knew that he wasn't giving them anything to make him believe, if I keep him in the game, we have a shot at winning this thing. He wasn't doing nothing up to that point. So, I'm going to agree with Coach on that one. 3 of 17 shooting, 0 of 3 from 3 after playing 30 minutes, that's inexcusable. We needed you, and you didn't show up. Yeah, you the Big East Player of the Year. We understand what you done this season, but, hey, in the biggest moment, you didn't show up, so you got to go sit on that pine. It's unfortunate, but Arkansas is moving on. St. John's going home after one hell of a season. It was a great season. Shout out to Coach Rick Pitino. Hell of a season. Now you guys have something to look forward to moving forward. So, hey, man, it's March Madness for a reason. That's how it goes. Sometimes the best teams don't always make it to the finish line, unfortunately. So, it is what it is. Moving on to my last topic of the day, of this episode. And it's not really a topic, man. It's just, I just want to send, my heartfelt, I don't even know how I want to say this, because this person, they didn't pass away. And I just want to, send love to JuJu Watkins. If you don't know, last night, she tore ACL in a tournament game against Mississippi State in the first quarter. Looked like she was running on a fast break and transition, and you instantly seeing it. She went down, grabbed her knee, was yelling in pain. You could see it. Anybody that's been watching sports for a long period of time, you know what that is majority of the time. And she had to be carried off. She had to be carried off the court, and it came out later on that she sustained a torn ACL. And I just want to say, I just want to send love and support her way. It's unfortunate after the season that she had, historic season, setting all kind of records. Was guaranteed. Everybody already know the future. She's the future the WNBA. She looked like she was headed to be the future of the WNBA, and that still can be very possible. You know, I'm just wishing and hoping her a speedy recovery, attack rehab, and hopefully she can return the same player she was when she left. But, you know, that's how it is, man. With sports, you could be, it's always humps and hurdles, you know what I'm saying, that you may have to jump, or loops you may have to get through to get to your final destination. And, you know, it's just very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, man, because if you watch that girl play, she had them eyes on her. She was bringing that excitement, which already was there after these past couple of years with, you know, Caitlin Clark injuries. JuJu was keeping it there, and I was just so ready to waiting to see her transition and take that over to the WNBA, because I just knew she was going to be special. I'm talking about she got greatest women basketball player of all time type of, you know, skill. And, you know, unfortunately, now it's a hurdle that she going to have to go through, but I believe she'll be fine. You know, take some time and collect your thoughts, accept what's going on, and, you know, attack rehab, and hopefully, you know, she'll be the same player she was when she left. But that's it. I just wanted to, you know, send love and support her way. And like I said, attack that rehab, and I can't wait to see, the sports world can't wait to see you back out there on the court. And, man, that's the end of this episode for today. You know, I did this episode. I'm a little under the weather. I don't know if y'all going to be able to tell or not, but, you know, I said I'm going to push through and get it done. I was super excited, man. I appreciate everybody who been rocking with me throughout this whole process. Y'all know that. I tell y'all that all the time. Keep smashing that subscribe button. We on our way to 300 subscribers. Let's keep building this thing up. Y'all already know what I need y'all to do when this episode drop. Like, share the content, and just, you know, keep supporting your boy, man. I see y'all back here next week. Y'all know where to find me. I see y'all.